Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We are covering Love Island UK Season 11, Week 2, and Episodes 7 through to 13. Now, Chris, welcome back, sir. Welcome back from holiday. How'd you get on?
Well, this worst place is to be watching Love Island on your phone, Dave, sat by a pool. Even if it was infuriating, I'm like a snake at the moment. My whole body is peeling. And Sam's like, you need to get, after some body lotion on. I'm like, of course. And I did do that while I'm away. But since I've come back, Dave, I literally look like a python. It's just skin falling off me. Yeah. And I sort of get a bit of a kick out of that. I don't know why. But anyway, no, honestly, I missed it. I sort of missed talking to you. Big thanks to Mike and Megan last week, stepping in. Completely different take on reality TV. Mike coming from someone who'd never seen it. And I just really appreciate that. They came on and they saw the bat signal, Mike and Megan, and they were really good of them to do it and take the time and to spend 5 hours watching Love Island, Dave. But I'd really appreciate it. Is, so thank you to them both. They're lovely people. And I've seen loads of different comments about the episode, like it really interesting coming from people who Mike's never seen reality TV at all, really. So it was a really, really good conversation, and it's just good to be back because I was dying when I was listening to the episode. I'm like, I need to get on, Mike. We need some more Chris Phelps reality TV chat. But yeah, really massive thank you to them. And just great that you held the ship together while I was away, mate.
No, it wasn't bad. I think in hindsight, I probably could have set expectations a bit. I think we didn't sort of say this was happening. We didn't know what it was going to be, and I sometimes say to you, don't I? Even Wayne's World had roadies, but it's just you and I. So it's kind of like, fuck, how do we get something out? And we'll always try and do that. So yeah, I think I really enjoyed the chat, and I was just having a great time there. But I have to say, Chris, I can't wait to get into this with you, get back on the horse and start laying in some bell ends. Now, just a really quick one. What did you make of the first week?
Well, it was pretty much Harriet, Kieran and Nicole won it for most of it. And Ayu, Mimi and Uma, as she came in after a few episodes. It centered around them with a bit of Joey Essex being an absolute shit stirrer, Dave, which I do want to talk about Joey Essex. But yeah, I find it very difficult the first couple of episodes, like any new series. You're in this for 2 months and and even I'm on holiday and I'm like, I shouldn't really be watching this. I should be enjoying my holiday, but I'm like, I'm going to have to watch it. So the first 2 episodes were a little bit of a slog. Cry me a river as I was sipping my pina colada, Dave. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're fucking terrible first world problems, Chris, you entitled bell and that I am. But then after the second episode and the third episode, it started getting a little bit juicy. But again, Harriet, Nicole, Dave, Harriet is messy as fucking shit. Yeah. She literally contradicts herself. The whole situation when she kissed Kieran. And I think Nicole, I wasn't sure, but I thought by the end of the week, she was so right. She's like, she doesn't go for these rugby guys. This is what they do. They all like treat, Kieran basically treating them as objects, and he's like, fuck it. I'll do whatever I want. Then he's doing that faux, what have I done? But really, because the lads are all egging him on, you've got that bell end fucking Ronnie there thinking, super stud. And I'm like, it's just the lad. You're a 24-year-old little kid, really, who's trying to play it. But it also doesn't help having Harriet on the other side, who's there trying to create her own story arc in Love Island. However, exactly what we need, Dave, in Love Island, even if morally it was all wrong. I did enjoy it, I must admit.
Yeah, no, it was good. And if we had this influencer thing down, Chris, you could have done like because I'm assuming there's going to be vlogs coming out of your holiday.
There is, yes.
You could have done. I can hear the Love Island theme tune playing, and like you by the pool watching Love Island on your phone with a pina colada, as you described it there. But maybe next time.
Well,
Michael Palin when you go on holiday again.
Hang on a second, Dave. In September, I have an actual story about this. So a couple of days in, and you know me, I get up so early for work. I'm up before 4 a.m. every day, but even at weekends, I'm up early. I'm just one of them people. I've run off about 5-6 hours sleep. I'm up and I get up, and every day I'm like, right, I'm going down, doing the yoga. I wasn't doing any gym work. I'm doing the yoga. Let's get, bit of the calisthenics in. However, I was also putting my towels down, Dave, by the pool at the same time, just to get prime spot. I hate all that, but you do have to do it, unfortunately. So anyway, I come down, right, I put my towels out. I've got the little clips off Shein and everything. So I'm well invested in the towel game. Guy comes up to me, Dave, goes, "You're that," I'm trying to do a Burnley accent, but I can't. "You're that Phelps travel, aren't you?" And I went, "Yeah." Eyes lit up then, Dave went, "I bought this hotel off the back of you." I said to the wife yesterday, "I'm sure that's him, and that's his wife and the family over there." So they'd watched my vlogs last year. So I was like, absolutely. I posted it on our Facebook page, Phelps Travel Vlogs. I'm like, Dave, I'm not at influencer status. However, 2 days later, I'm at another bar at night, another tap on the shoulder. "Hey, mate, my missus has just said," she went, "Your mate's over there." And I'm thinking, I don't know this guy at all. Is this one of them, like, you look like you went, "I've watched all your holiday things." That so much so, I've watched them 6 times on a loop before we've come here. And I'm thinking, oh my God, you must be sick to death of seeing my face or hearing my voice. So I'm not at influencer status. Yeah, I know you are. I'm not at influencer status yet, Dave, but absolutely made up that 2 people booked a holiday off the back of like me doing my vlogs and just being a complete bellend. So I think you need to put a bit of respect on the influencer that you're working with in this podcast now, Dave. You know what I mean?
Well, about that respect, I mean, when you messaged me first on the first person, I didn't actually know about the second person. I'm thinking, oh, fucking hell, look at Chris here, a bit of an influencer. I'm like, fucking well done, mate. That is amazing. And then you're like, yeah, well, what happened was, and something about last year, and so we're back again this year. And I'm like, hang about, right? You're at the same fucking hotel that you've been vlogging on. So if I was going away and umming and ahhing about a few hotels, I'd be onto YouTube, have a quick look, who's vlogging about these? And so, you see some random people, it's like, oh yeah, that one looks nice. And they, you walk around the grounds and something. If I saw the same fucking person at the same hotel, it'd be like, fucking a band with their own band T-shirt on or something. I didn't realise it was the same hotel. And I was like, oh, fuck me. It's still kind of good, but it's sort of like, it took the shine off it a little bit when I started to think that way.
Fuck off. But I haven't got the white teeth yet. I've not got the full, the turkey teeth. But there was a little email may have slipped to the hotel saying with a link to my tour of the hotel from last year. And just by chance, Dave, we did get one of the best rooms in the hotel that we never paid for. Now, you say about the influencer life, but we had a lovely suite, Dave, all freebies.
This is why they do it, Chris. It's not about the vlogs, is it? It's about the followers. It's about the clicks.
I'm turning. I'm becoming.
Our relationship is going to change. I tell you, because our modus operandi is to lay into these fucking tryhards, and you are molding into one. So, no. About that respect, again, I did see a lot of the photos, very, very lovely. I did see you were red. I did predict that you were going to be peely as fuck. Your nose, in particular, was very, very red, but it is closer to the sun, so I can understand how that happens. So
you know what that was? Because I was swimming every day. I had these sunglasses on from Shein. They were massive glasses, like Elton John glasses. So at one point, I had rings above my eyebrows, all around my face, down to literally under my nose. But because of it, it was working like a solar panel, so my fucking nose was shredded and peeling after about 3 days. It was horrendous. So I'll send you the picture, mate. But yeah, you're not wrong about the nose because I got plenty of jokes about it. Anyway, let's talk about Love Island. Forget about my
we're not actually sponsored by Sheen. We just fucking love it at the minute, don't we? It's just
Fucking
like,
brilliant.
Get this on Sheen, get that on Sheen. But yeah, no, Chris, we've been talking for almost 10 minutes, and I know people just want us to get into the show. Some of the feedback last week was, they did appreciate the longer length, but thought that Chris was always trying to finish too quickly. I think that message came in from S. Phelps. But let's get into the episode. Where do you want to start today?
I wish I had a longer length. But anyway, well, let's go through the couples then, Dave. So Kieran and Nicole, they were the center of attention in the first week. Everything this week, once they got together, the kiss, they've literally been in the background. It was almost as if the story had been told. However, get to the episode on Friday and, Tiffany comes in, you've got Grace come in, and then Kieran's I'm not going to turn for anybody, which Nicole was sort of teeing up on Thursday's episode when she's like, he's already said that there's nobody going to turn us. It doesn't matter who they are. On Friday, he was like, well, we're not really official, are we, sort of thing. And then they sort of confirmed it and he backed down. But I think he will, if he gets to Casa Amor and they're still together, he's 100% going to cheat on her as far as I'm concerned.
But, I mean, it is week 2. So I think, they're all a bit keen, aren't they? Again, I can't help but see all of the tactics now. And, once you've taken the pill, the Matrix pill, and you sort of see it as it is. So, yeah, it is a bit of nonsense. You mentioned about Kieran and that, obviously that triangle with Harriet at the time. And obviously that was a done deal. And then she's straight off to create another triangle with Ronnie, isn't she? So Ronnie and Jess. So you fucking got over that one quickly, didn't you? So yeah, I think Kieran. I think he's okay to still have his head turned. Like I say, we're only at the end of week 2 now, so they shouldn't be coupled up already. But yeah, for a few days at least, Kieran and Nicole were definitely sort of in the background, weren't they? Not having a bit like Munveer, not having much screen time.
God, yeah, he was hardly featured at all. There was a couple of times, and obviously he got voted off. Then him and Patsy went on episode 12, like Wednesday's episode. They were gone on Thursday's episode. But I think for and you're right, we're in week 2. It's not gonna, they're not getting that settling down and getting a mortgage or anything like that. I understand that, but like you said, they're also keen to play the game. I still think some of them, particularly, and we'll get on to Ronnie, you don't really understand Love Island. You don't understand, what the game is, I don't think. But for the purpose of them two, you're right. They're not a girlfriend and boyfriend just yet. We haven't got fucking Hunt the Slipper. We haven't got let's all hold notes between our arse cheeks and you pull it out and you're like, oh, meet me on the terrace.
I don't want to see that episode.
Meet me in the hideaway. Meet me under the bed. Fucking great. So we're not at that stage. You are correct. But I think because Kieran has shown his immaturity at times, I did like Nicole, the way she dealt with it. But a lot of the girls are talking so well about they're not being messed about. And then the guy comes over and gives them, and we can watch it as the audience, give him complete bullshit. And the whole game plan just falls apart, doesn't it? It's just because like you say, like Harriet went from saying, I'm not doing any more triangles. I am not doing any more triangles. Like you said, hi, Ronnie. I went straight into another one and then was absolutely buzzing off the fact that she's in another triangle because in her head, she knows she's getting screen time and that's exactly what she's doing. But I did see there's a little bit of support for her as this second week went on, Dave. Not from me because I don't like her, but I can sort of understand that she's just going to be a bit like it wasn't Wes. Where basically she's so messy, isn't she? Like she's gonna go from one relationship to another, and it's all gonna be like I don't know what's wrong. She hasn't got that sort of reflection that she's doing anything wrong, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I mean, characters like that do tend to do quite well on Love Island. Not to get right to the end, but they tend to stick around a bit. I mean, Ronnie is not that dissimilar in a way, is he? I mean, he's definitely. I really hope he sticks around until movie night, because he's another Harriet. He'll just say one thing to one person and then a different thing to someone else, and think, oh, well, it's not like this is being recorded. It's not like this ever gets re-shown until we're out of the villa. So I don't know. Is it a tactic, or is it stupidity? What do you reckon it is? But actually, I'll come back to that question. But you mentioned the hideaway. I'm intrigued, Chris. What do you think about how they set up the hideaway this season, where they can just basically wander in whenever they want?
Yeah, and that's just bizarre, isn't it? Because it was always like a reward, and now it's like they take him to the hideaway, like Ronnie did with Harriet. He took her in there to have a chat. Jesse's looking, snogs her face off, doesn't say anything, comes out all sheepish and just like, yeah, we had a good chat. Yeah. Okay, Pinocchio, of course you did. And I think, look, we've said they need to freshen it up. We need to do something different. I think when they say we're going into the hideaway, when there's these triangles, it's perfect fodder for the person who's left out to kick off and speculate what's going on. You're only going in there most of the time for a snog, aren't they, and everything, So, yeah, I'm happy with it. I don't dislike it, but I don't like it either. I just think it's something different they're going to try for this series and see if it works. They may have tried it on some of the other series, across the world of Love Island, some of the franchises, but let's see how that goes. But it did create the drama because Harriet and Ronnie kissed. That had repercussions for Jess. I think Jess is the perfect example. What I was saying of, she's talked a brilliant game. I've got too much respect for myself. I'm not being a third wheel. I'm not standing up. I'm not doing this. Then Ronnie comes over with his slick back end. He goes, and he mumbles. He goes, oh, yeah, well, I really like it. And, yeah. And she goes, oh, my God, yeah. I knew that wasn't you. I knew it was Harriet all along. And I'm like, he's bullshit. Like, how are you falling for this utter horseshit from Ronnie? Because I think he's just a dick. And he's one of the boys. Let's be honest, Dave. He looks about 45. He looks about the same age as me and you. There's no fucking way he's 26 or 27. I believe he's a friend of Bradley Dack, who Olivia Atwood is married to. He was at the wedding. We watched his programs, me and Sam. So no, he isn't going to be his best man. He's obviously got in there off the back of somebody Olivia knows, and that's why he's in there. And the fact that he kissed Uma, didn't he, when she came in at some like thing, and she absolutely was trying her best to tell him about this bit. I worked at a bar. It was this. She could literally name the minute. And he's just looking at her going, Homer Simpson donuts. I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. So it's either she's playing it up more than what it is, or he's just a player, who like a proper Essex player who's out every week clubbing it and stuff. So, yeah, he's not read the script of Love Island. That's all I'm going to say. He hasn't, because if he wants to stay in, he's doing a very bad job at the moment.
Well, that's what's got me doubting, to be honest, because I just feel like these people must come in with a plan. Surely they have to come in with a plan. They've seen all the seasons before, but the way he comes across, it's like, well, this is like him on the outside. And normally, he's not going to get caught out, is he? He'll say one thing to one girl and a different thing to another girl, and very unlikely he's going to get caught. But here, he's just operating his normal game. I can't help but feel like, the whole slick back hair thing is like he's trying to be Ronnie Cray. He's like, oh, I'm a London boy, and, my name's Ronnie, so I've got to be a Cray, haven't I? But I feel like that is him. It's not his tactic to be this two-faced snake. He's just a two-faced snake. He's quacking like a duck, Chris.
Well, that's true, and also he's got that thing that when he's with Jess or Harriet, he seems quite respectful to them, even though he talks in riddles and that. He gives them a bit of respect, but then he does that classic thing when he's back with the boys, Dave. He's like, oh yeah, I got fucking, he's talking in football analogies about fucking Bosman free transfers, and I'm glad they didn't commit to this contract. And I'm like you said, movie night is going to fuck you up if you are still here, pal, because you are playing a dangerous game. And maybe it is that fact that they forget the cameras are on. We all say it like, surely they know. However, he's just silly. He's the character we need in the show. But on a personal level, he's an absolute clown. And I'm here for him just carrying on doing what he's doing. He's messy as fuck. They're all messy, if I'm being honest, Dave. Pretty much every contestant is this year.
Yeah, they are. And honestly, I'm the same. I'm like, on a personal level, don't like you at all. But as you were saying about movie night then, I know I mentioned it before, but just hearing you talk about it, if you imagine the meme where it's the cartoon, it's the girl like laughing maniacally and all the flames are behind her. I'm just like, oh, I can't wait. I'm literally here rubbing my hands. I just can't wait for this. Fucking, like say, all of them, Ronnie, Harriet, the things that they've been saying, the whole chanting of Harriet's name, I think from week one, from Kieran, I think that will all come back. So, oh God, I don't want to wish it all away, but hopefully, hopefully we get a lot of this cast staying in until movie night. But so yeah, we talked a bit about Jess, Harriet, and Ronnie, that whole triangle there. I think. What do you reckon about Ayu, Mimi, and Uma?
Well, and a sprinkling of Omar as well, Dave. He's in the background.
Right at the end there, yeah.
Yeah. It's weird because Ayu and Mimi, started off really bright. You sort of knew it was never going to be all sunshine and rainbows. There's going to be a little bit of Love Island sprinkle there. Uma comes in, they're all pretty and all good looking people, all models as well, all four of them. And I think what it is, he's just very, very sloppy, isn't he? Like, he speaks I said about Ronnie, I think he speaks very respectfully towards the two girls who are after him, but then contradicts himself when he's talking to each of them.
Yeah.
He's not as blatant as Ronnie, where he's just literally taking the piss. I genuinely think he doesn't know where to turn, but I think the way they did the steal in the week was very good because obviously he was with Mimi at this point, with Uma, sorry, at this point. Mimi stole him back. Omar ends up with Uma, and it was sort of like, oh shit, here we go. But Uma had actually said, I'm taking a step back from this. I don't understand this. Why can't you make a decision? And every time either Mimi or Uma had a bit of airtime, they were talking to different girls going, he just needs to make a decision. And I'm thinking, have some respect for yourselves. Yes, he's a good looking guy, but you're both good looking girls as well. Like, have some respect. There's going to be someone else come in here that could be the right person for you. And then he's doing that sort. He isn't doing like Ronnie where he's completely disrespectful, but he is that sort of boyish, laddish thing of like, yeah, keeping my options open. I can have any of these girls when I want. He wasn't as blatant as Ronnie, but I did feel at times that he sort of knew that he could pick either of them and he wouldn't back down. But then there was a little, in the last episode, there was a bit where you said on the Talking Heads bit, you went, I might end up with empty-handed here if I don't watch what I'm doing. So it's like, well, you're playing that game. You are empty-handed now, because I think Mimi, even when they ended up back together, she was not interested in hugging him, kissing him. She just sat there like, yeah, okay, cheers, mate. So I think it's just been sloppy for 2 weeks on his part, if I'm being honest. And then Omar does like Uma. I don't think there's anything between him, because when they ended up together, Uma just kept side-eyeing over to you. She's just to say, you fucking cock. So great TV again, though, Dave.
Yeah, I'd love the comparison that you brought between Ronnie and Ayu, because I think Ronnie's very obviously a player. And when we talk about the players, we talk about like a 1 or a 0. They're either not a player or they are a player. I think both of them are players. But I just think Ayu is a much better player because he's less subtle. I don't really think I spotted it at all in week 1. I just thought, he seems to be very mature and he's being kind of supportive, but without being overly committal. And, I think he played a perfect game week 1. But I do think that when, he was being questioned by Mimi and Uma, there were little things where he's contradicting himself and he's tying himself up in knots a little bit. So really interested in seeing how that goes on. But also, I actually felt quite sorry for Uma, because when she was coupled up with Ayu, it seemed to be that that's the way it was going to go. You know, Mimi wasn't going to fight a corner, really. You know, she was just sort of stepping back, even though she still really liked him. But Uma was making sure that, you know, Ayu was being respectful and stuff because Mimi's there, and she was very considerate of Mimi's feelings. And I just feel like Mimi didn't give a fuck when the shoe was on the other foot. I don't think she really cared. So it's a tough one, and unfortunately for Omar, I think he's just he's going to go at some point because he does like Uma, but she's not really interested. And I don't see him. He really needs to switch tactics to try and, you know, get his graft on with someone else, because I think he's just going to be left out in the lurch and then ending up voting off at some point.
Yeah, and you can see that he's getting that edit like one video I had in the first week, just not there, peripheral figure, isn't it? You know, like even the conversations with him are quite flat, aren't they? They're not like, you can't see any sort of spark between them. But again, we're into week 3, Dave. And when you put it into context of a real life relationship, it's like, well, they wouldn't be committing. You wouldn't be making that big jump. However, this is Love Island. We need people becoming boyfriend and girlfriend and then cheating on each other. We need the shit. We need everything that is morally wrong in real life to happen, because that's exactly what Love Island's about. Influencer bullshit, people faking it till they make it. And also, if there is real relationships, somebody letting the other one down. That's what Love Island is built on, whether we like it or not.
Well, one of those sort of couplings that I thought could maybe be one of those power couples that, you know, get rocked with Casa Amor was possibly Joey Essex and Samantha. Now, I kind of feel like I should be rooting for Samantha, but I just can't. There's something about it. I just can't. I don't like, at times, right, she, especially when she's giving advice out to other people, I think she gives good advice out to other people, but doesn't necessarily, you know, adopt it herself. But the bit that made me laugh was, you know, when she's getting slightly insecure and she's thinking about, oh, well, all of those girls, they come in and they're going to see Joey Essex, and then they're going to be making a beeline for Joey Essex because he's Joey Essex. And I'm thinking, what, like you? I mean, that's exactly what you did. And you're saying about, you're almost, the way you're talking about it, you're discrediting whoever's going to walk through those doors. If they go for Joey Essex, you're kind of manipulating him into thinking that, you know, their motive, not that I think he'll give a fuck, but their motives might not be 100% genuine, Chris. So I don't know. What do you reckon between that, between Sam and Joey?
Well, I'm rolling my sleeves up, Dave, because I've got a big problem with Joey Essex being in Love Island. Now, looking on his bio, this is now his 18th reality show that he's been on. So he started in Towie in 2011, did 109 episodes. Then he's done I'm a Celebrity. He did one called Educating Joey Essex, The Jump, Celebs Go Dating. He was on the 2022 I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here in Australia, Dancing on Ice. And now he's on Love Island. The guy's made pure money off the back of, this is just the stuff where he's been throughout the season, loads of guest appearances, things like that. I do not believe that he should be on here. And what I loved about the first week was when he comes in and all the girls are like, oh my God, it's Joey Essex. I'm like, he's a fucking cock, right? But he comes in, he goes, yeah, the thing is, girls, yeah. And he starts saying Reem and all these other stuff from like 10 years ago that was on Towie, all these little catchphrases. He goes, I'm looking to settle down and have kids. And that's exactly what a 21, 22-year-old influencer wannabe lady wants to hear, Dave. That this bloke who's 11 years older than him now wants kids and that. And they're going to go, I'll tell you what, that's a great idea. Why don't we settle down? What a load of bullshit. He's the plan. And Sam actually said, Dave, she started watching it. Actually, she's a bit behind me. She said, do you think he's only been put in here so he can be in the All-Star one in January? So he's in there. That's a bit of reality TV royalty. Because I reckon he'll be in there. The guy is a fake. I've loved the fact that he's absolutely shit-stirred it. Every relationship he's got involved. I mean, Kieran had a little bit of a nibble at him with Nicole and Harriet. But he's literally going to everyone dead subtly because they've got this respect about him. I don't know why. And he's going, you need to have it out of him right now. I won't stand for that. And then he goes to the other one. Yeah. Well, what's happened is Dave just said this, so they're going to have a word with you. And he's pulling all the strings. And for me, it's too cute. I just think that he's not there. We know he's not there for love, but he's not in there as another contestant. He's been asked to go in there for a reason. He's not going to win it. He's going to end up going towards the end if he stays in here. And I think if he carries on shit-suing it, the public will actually vote him off. But I also think him and Samantha is a load of bullshit. She's absolutely, she's basically drinking the Kool-Aid of like, he's a reality TV star. I mean, they stay in the first time with the king and queen of the villa. No, you're not. You're a fucking absolute no mark who's just sticking with Joey. Exactly what you just said before, Dave. Then she says on Friday, they're the first ones to get told to sit down because they're not going anywhere. I think they've picked him because of me. Because you're a national treasure, Joey, aren't you? Like trying to be all cut. And I'm like, she genuinely believes she's the main character. You know what she reminds me of, Dave? In that series of maths that we've just fucking watched, haven't we? What's he called? Fucking Bunhead and his fucking silly missus who was just believing everything. What's he called? Jim.
I can see him. Oh,
idiot. Jack. Is it Jack?
Jack. Yeah.
Jack. And Tori.
Tori. Yeah.
Like every week they were the last ones on the couch, weren't they, with John and Mel and that, and they believed everything. They thought they were the main characters. She was sitting down all cocky, thinking she was like the main star, and that's the vibes I'm getting. I mean, she did get a bit of jealousy where she did say, I do get jealous. I think, look, everyone gets jealous. It's human nature one way or the other. But when the new girl came in, this Grace, who's his ex, she's like, oh my God, I've had a load of pastries. And that happy she started. And I'm thinking she's not bothered about losing you because there's been no spark between you two. I've not really seen a kiss between them properly other than in the challenges. So I'm thinking, has Joey doing a bit of a jack? Has he got a girlfriend on the outside? Because it seems that there is no chemistry between them. They talk a good game and all the respect for each other. And I'm like, this just feels too forced again, like on both sides, and obviously they're going to split up pretty much after the show finishes. Let's be honest, Dave.
Yeah. I mean, so let's have a big old tangent on this one because again, we didn't get to talk about it last week, but you and I didn't at least. So, when Joey Essex walks in, right, and again, the first episode, at the end, there's going to be a bombshell and everyone's going to be like, oh, I can't believe it. We were so settled right now after day one. And, there's a new bombshell. When he's walking in, I'm like, not much of a fucking bombshell, this one, is it? Like when Tommy Fury, season 5, walks in, you're like, and I'd heard, a Fury was going in. I didn't know who Tommy Fury was, but you're like, yeah, I can see it, to be fair. Good looking bloke, going to shake things up after day one. Joey Essex walks in. I'm like, a bit of a downgrade, really. He's scraping the bottom of the barrel here. But I can see the group chat fucking going back and forth. Oh, it's Joey Essex. I'm like, who the fuck's Joey Essex? Right. So Google, who's Joey Essex? All right. And then I'm looking at, he's been on all these things. I did think with the name it'd be something to do with The Only Way is Essex. And I look at some of his old pictures and I think, oh yeah, I can see why when he's younger with the hair and everything, he looked like a good-looking young lad. And it's not like he's not a great-looking bloke, but I think if he's been on screen for a longer, people are seeing him as a lot better looking than if they got some nobody walking in for the first time. It'd be a different thing. Now, what I'd say is, I'm completely on the same page with you. He should not be in there. Now, when we've looked at the viewing figures for the last few years, the viewing figures have been going down, haven't they? So I just wonder, are they throwing this? Is this the shark, Chris? Are they jumping the shark and trying to just throw in a, Towie or this The Only Way is Essex or whatever, this celebrity in there to give it a different dimension and see if they can re-inject some life into this franchise. But I just don't think it works. When we chat about it, we generally agree that some of the worst bits are when they're outside of the villa, when you've got all the stationary cameras that are there all the time, and so you're capturing some of these real moments. But when they go off, and they have the chats and then they sit down, it feels really soap opera. And that's usually like the worst episode of the whole season. By throwing him in there, you're really blurring the lines between drama and what's supposed to be reality TV, even though we know a lot of it is kind of orchestrated from behind. But not only that, he's done that many TV shows, reality TV shows. He's a fucking ninja, Chris.
Exactly.
It's like we're playing five-a-side football, back in the day. And you're like, Chris, he's great at orchestrating the midfield. Don't get him to run, but just give him the ball and he'll create a pass. Scores a few goals as well. Dave, he's all right at the back. Good defender and that. And someone says, "Oh, I've got my mate coming down." All right. What's his name? Oh, his name is another Dave, actually. All right. Okay, yeah, it's David Beckham. Oh, right. And he's going to be a fucking ringer and run rings around everyone. All of these other people are just complete unknowns, apart from a few hundred or a few thousand people on Instagram, and they're not playing at the same level that he's playing at. So it's completely unfair if you look at it that way. And obviously, I did appreciate the first week when he completely threw Kieran under the bus. But again, I did enjoy it in the moment. But you look back at it, it's like, well, it's almost like having a producer on screen, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's how I feel. I feel as if like he's got an earpiece in at times and everything. He's like I say, if he's not been in there, it'd have been pretty boring. And I know he has his fans, Dave, but I think Love Island's always about, unless you're watching the All-Star stuff. And then the All-Stars was, it wasn't a bad series at all. It's like, he's like, really, in the UK, he's probably, when it comes to reality TVs, he's a bit like Sam Thompson, who won I'm a Celeb and that. He's like, he's gone from a reality show, like he was in Made in Chelsea, Tower. He's had a massive career off the back of it. I've watched him, and so this is his 18th reality show. I'd probably say I've watched him maybe 7 or 8 of them shows, like from the start. And you get the same thing. I'm a Celeb, X on the Beach, all this other bullshit that he's been in. And I've watched him, and it's the same script. And I think now that whole shtick of him being like this ditzy guy who doesn't know what he's doing, he's not. He's a very clever guy. And I think he's earned a lot of money playing a character. And whether he's fooling the producers, I don't believe it. I believe that he's a plan and he'll end up getting out. But I think at the moment, we need him in there because he's creating the arguments just by being so subtle. Exactly what you said about he's been there, done it, got the T-shirt, he's done the shows, he knows exactly what to do. It's like having, like you do kickboxing, that Dave. It's like having someone who's a white belt coming in and going straight up to a black belt and going, let's have it right now. And you'd be like, well, that's silly, really, isn't it? So these are all trying to aspire to be Joey Essex, but he's got 10 years experience on them all. And it's showing, I think, throughout the first 2 weeks. And also, I have enjoyed watching him just be an absolute shithouse, even if I don't think he should be in there.
Yeah. No, he has been going well, hasn't he? But I think Samantha might be in for a rude awakening if she thinks they're the power couple, because obviously you got Grace in there, like you say. So let's see, Chris. Anything else from the week?
No, nothing, Dave, at all. It's just good to be back. I'm glad to be talking to you about it because I've been absolutely foaming at the mouth thinking, Dave, I've got to speak to you. And we've spoke to each other, but we haven't spoken about reality TV, have we? We were like, no, keep everything under wraps until we get to this point. So I probably talked too much. I've probably gone on because I've got 2 weeks of pent up frustration, but I am all in, Dave, now. 100%. I'm back in Love Island. I hate saying that to you because I know it's a 2-month slog, but these absolute bellends have got me right back into the fore, and I cannot wait to watch the rest of it.
Yeah, can't wait, mate. Can't wait.
Oh, good stuff. So big thank you, again, as I said earlier, everyone who supports the podcast, Mike and Megan for stepping in last week. Really good. And big thanks to you, mate, because I did miss you. If you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, @cdrealitycast. If you do get time, please drop us a review on the podcast, guys, and your podcast catching out. Me and Dave really appreciate it. And it just helps us get up there in the podcasting charts. If you want to go over to Facebook, Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast, come and join us over there, guys. Now, I'm going to set a target, Dave. We're over 700 friends over on Facebook, which is amazing. So let's try and get to 800. So that's the new target for this season. I just keep throwing it out there. We will get to 1,000 at some point. But thank you, everyone who supports the podcast. And if you are outside the UK, all the podcast links for the shows that were Love Island, that they're actually on the Facebook page as well. So get over there, guys. There's plenty of people talking, and the chat facility is amazing because you've got like the Love Island chats, everything. You can get involved. If you don't want spoilers, don't go into the chat. Nobody really puts anything on the front page anymore. So it's pretty much spoiler free. And you've got the links to all the episodes. And there's always big thank yous to Charlene as well for monitoring and looking after the Facebook page. So if you don't support us, get over to patreon.com/CD realitycast. So the roll call of honor for today and for the new series is Stacey, Sinead, Jesse, Kathleen Sims, Andrew, Nick, Danielle, Kim, Amanda, Larissa, Helen, Nicola, Fiona, Maggie, Zoe, Gillian, Keith, Helen, Chloe, Joanna, Libby, Susan, Hennessy, Lauren, Lucky Lulu Green, and Ken Castarson. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. And I'm so glad to be back. I'm glad you waited for us to get this band back together, but we are ready now. So brilliant stuff.
Awesome. I don't know if we're quite ready for next week, but okay. Definitely great to get this episode out of the way. We'll get into the next week. I mean, literally tonight, it's going to be England are playing Chris, but we're going to have to prioritise Love Island, of course. But good to speak to you again, mate. Thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters, and we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.